He could turn a thought into a thing, a rough idea into something that sings. From timber and metal, from earth and sky, he built his dreams, he dared to fly. A thinker, a maker, a problem solver's grin. The world was a puzzle and he loved to begin. No waste, no fear, no giving in. He fixed, he mended, he made it spin. Kind-hearted, witty, quietly wise, a twinkle forever behind those eyes. He lived with purpose, laughter and art, and left his blueprint on every heart. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this beautiful place. We've gathered here this morning in this beautiful chapel to celebrate and honour the life of Coen Smit, a man who filled his years with adventure, curiosity, laughter, kindness, and endless creativity. Today is both a sad day and a beautiful one. Sad because Coen left us suddenly without warning, a shock that has left his family and friends heartbroken. But beautiful because what we hold in our hearts this morning are the countless memories of a man who lived fully. We are here to give thanks for who he was, for what he gave, and for the many ways he shaped the lives of those he loved. And as we share this time together, it's okay, in fact it's more than okay, to feel whatever comes, to laugh through tears, to cry through laughter, to sit in silence, or to smile at a memory that suddenly appears. Because all those feelings, the love, the ache, the pride, the gratitude, they are the measure of how deeply Coen was loved. His loving wife Pam, adoring children Ben and Gemma, son-in-law James and grandchildren Flynn and Lily, are so grateful that you could be with them today, and they thank you for the many calls and messages that they have received since Coen left us. It has been overwhelming for them to discover just how much he was loved and respected. I also welcome family and friends from all over Australia who are watching online this morning, having been unable to join us in the chapel. At the conclusion of this service, you are warmly invited to stay here for light refreshments and to share your memories of this amazing man. Coen's story began far from here. Born in Lubuk Pakam in Indonesia, born to Dutch parents Nellie and Robert, who had endured unimaginable hardships of war. His father helped build the Burma Railway, and his mother was once interred in a Japanese prisoner of war camp. But together, they started anew, bringing their young family to Australia when Coen was just 8 years old. He grew up in Mullumbimby, surrounded by the bush, the sea, and a sense of resourcefulness that would stay with him for life. He loved spearfishing, tinkering, and building cars with his dad, early signs of that inventive mind that never stopped creating. At ANU in Canberra, Coen completed a degree in economics and began working for the Trade Practices Commission, now the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission. And it was there that he met Pam, the love of his life. After a whirlwind romance of just 6 months, they were married in the ACT. That sense of adventure, that spark of curiosity was always there. Coen and Pam moved to Darwin, where he worked in tourism promotion. It was there that Ben was born, and life once again changed direction. The next chapter took them south to Tasmania, where Coen had a 6-month stint taxi driving before securing his abalone diving licence. During this time, Gemma was born, and the family enjoyed many sailing trips to Flinders Island and Hunter Island, as well as going to see the flotilla of tall ships in Hobart. After selling the abalone licence, they bought a beautiful yacht, the Mahi, and spent 9 magical months sailing her from Cairns to Tasmania. Mahi was a 76-foot pop-riveted steel twin-masted ketch, built in Krupp's shipyards in Germany. She was an elegant, slender, majestic lady, and Coen loved to sail her. Those were magical months filled with family adventures, plus teaching the children while on board. Life at sea was full of learning, laughter, and love. Coen was, in every sense, a doer. When he saw an idea, he built it. When something broke, he fixed it. And if it didn't exist, he'd invent it. He and Pam were entrepreneurs before their time. They started Tasmania Quad Ventures, the first quad bike tourism business in Australia, guiding tours through the rugged west coast, 1-, 2- and 3-day trips. He learnt to fly, and they ran their aircraft business Skyways from the Smithton Aerodrome, piloting a 6-seater Cessna 206 to nearby islands. And they also launched Indulgence Foods, a chocolate business that reflected Coen's creativity and flair for ideas. After the adventure-filled years of running Tasmanian Quad Adventures, Coen turned his energy towards something that brought him deep fulfilment: teaching. While driving a school bus during the day, he studied in the evenings to gain his teaching qualification. It was a big change, but one that suited him perfectly. A man who never stopped learning himself, now passing that same spark on to others. Coen began full-time teaching at Rosebery District High School, where he taught maths and science, 2 subjects he loved, especially for the way they explained the world and how things worked. Later, he accepted a position at Parklands High School, spending his final years there as the laboratory technician, where his creative and analytical skills were invaluable. His students and colleagues adored him. He was patient, approachable, and always ready with a story, a joke, or a clever way to make something complicated suddenly make sense. He also shared his knowledge more widely, teaching at TAFE, where he ran courses for deckhands and small business operators, and at James Cook University, where he helped veterinary students prepare not for treating animals, but for running their own businesses. Coen loved the diversity of his teaching roles. From high school students to adults beginning new careers, he connected with them all. A weekend job as a motorcycle instructor connected Coen with people from all walks of life. His patience and genuine interest in their progress touched everyone. Among those he guided in recent years was a young gifted student named Alexi, who looked up to Coen with immense admiration. Coen would often laugh and say that Alexi kept him on his toes, that he had to do extra study of night just to keep one step ahead of him. But that was the joy of it for Coen. Teaching wasn't about having all the answers, it was about learning together. He truly embodied that philosophy. a lifelong learner with a generous heart and a brilliant mind, who inspired others to see that knowledge, like life itself, was something to be explored with curiosity, humour, and courage. And always at the heart of it all was family. Coen adored his children, Gemma and Ben. He loved teaching them not just skills, but the way of thinking. And later, his grandchildren, Flynn and Lily, became his greatest joy. He was their opa, their patient teacher, their inventor of games and ideas, and he made learning fun. Coen was a man who could do anything. Not just a teacher, but a lifelong learner himself. He wrote for the Shed magazine, sharing his ideas with others who loved to create and build also. And he was self-taught in so many things: welding, 3D printing, carpentry, design. And he did it all with ingenuity and precision. He loved working with timber and iron, building garden sculptures, furniture, quirky recycled art pieces, and even kit cars. Coen once built a Hummer kit car, marrying it to a Nissan chassis. It was a huge job, but of course he made it work. One of his greatest achievements on their property was the magnificent cattery he built for Pam. With Ben at his side, he created the Fontainebleau for felines, a resort home away from home, where attention to detail was paramount and love and care abounded. Coen had a sharp analytical mind, but also a gentle, kind heart. He loved animals, always a dog or a cat close by, often rescue animals. Patch, the cattle dog who failed at cattle dogging, was a particular favourite. His latest rescue dog, Max, has only been in the family for 4 weeks, and Coen was lovingly training him. Their bond was deep, even though their time was short. Coen was deeply conscious of the environment and of our planet's fragility. He loved bushwalking, camping, the natural world. He was concerned about climate change and believed deeply in taking care of what we've been given. He was endlessly curious, endlessly inventive, a man who could look at the world and see possibility. And of course, he had that sense of humour. Witty, clever, dry. He loved everything British. Fawlty Towers, Would I Lie to You, Monty Python, Stephen Fry, Michael McIntyre. They just tickled his mind. His laughter filled rooms and his banter kept everyone on their toes. Through every stage of his life, Coen remained resilient. He believed in never giving up, in being open to learning, and in embracing change, that one constant in life. Those who knew him best will tell you he was kind, selfless, always listening, always ready to help. He'd research things just so he could help someone else solve a problem. He was generous with his time, his skills, and his heart. And he leaves behind not only a legacy of inventions, ideas, and memories, but a way of being: curious, kind, resilient, and quietly extraordinary. Coen Smit, you are a man who will never be forgotten. The first tributes this morning come from his great mate, David Nettleton, and Parkland's colleague, Shannon Wolazak. I invite David to come forward first. Thank you, David. right, there's no rush.
Right, shall we go?
See how you go.
Okay. Right. First thing I have to say is that I have lost a very, very dear friend. Tragically. I was delivering my cat to the cattery on Friday before last, and I drove up, and Pam came across to tell me while I was sitting in the car that Coen had died. I could not believe it. It took me 10 minutes just to sit down and absorb it. I still can hardly believe it. But it's a fact. I have outlived several friends, but I never thought I'd outlive Coen. I never thought that I'd be eulogising Coen. I thought Coen would be utilising me. I'm 86, he was 75. It's not fair. And I FaceTime my sister in England once a week, and I used to talk to her about Coen because I admired him so much and had such good times with him. And last Sunday I FaceTimed her and told her Coen had died. And she asked me how old he was. And then I told her. And then in true sisterly fashion, she said, well, it should have been you. She's probably right. But it's not me, it's Coen. And as I said to her, life's not always fair. And Coen, still a vibrant, amazing human being, is no longer with us, and that's not fair. So, I agree with everything that Denise said. It's a brilliant summary of Coen's great life. But there is something else as well, and that Coen was a very human person. And human people have flaws. And I know Coen had flaws. I'm not talking about things you walk on, but flaws. Because he used to occasionally tell me Pam had been telling him off for certain this and that and this and that. So I've been racking my brains for the last week and a bit, thinking of Coen's flaws. And the only serious flaw I could come up with was that he didn't like cricket. He has an excuse for that, of course, because he's Dutch. So I do excuse him in a way, but it is still a flaw. Anyway, I first met Coen 20 years ago when he arrived at Parklands to teach. I was then the lab tech. I've been at Parklands 25 years before I retired, and it's a great school, great kids, but it's a tough school in many ways. And Coen did struggle a little bit to start with, and he shouted a fair bit. But after a year or two, he got the hang of it and became a very, very good teacher. A very good teacher, because he understood the kids and the kids understood him, and they worked together very well in the classroom. And he was a grade 8 teacher, which is a difficult year, because it's a year when kids are finding out about themselves and finding out about their relationship with others, and they're not that interested in schoolwork, to be honest. But he did very well. So he took grade 8 for the basic subjects, one of which of course is science, and that's where I came in. Now normally science teachers come into the lab and tech, and they say to the lab tech, could you get this, this and this for me, please? And what do I want to do with them? Coen was different. Coen used to come in and say, well, what are we going to teach? First of all, it was this term. Then after a few more years, it was, what are we going to teach this week? Oh, no, sorry, next week. And then, what are we going to teach this week? As time went by. What are we going to teach tomorrow? What are we going to teach today? And even, once or twice, what are we going to teach next lesson? So, it was always we, which meant that Coen, the science teacher, thought that the lab tech should be part of the lesson preparation. No other teacher thought that. And I'm just wondering if Coen, when he took over from me as a lab tech, still thought the same. Possibly not. Possibly not. Anyway, eventually I retired and Coen took over my job. And of course the first thing he did was solve all the things that had been left in the too hard basket by the previous lab tech. Me. And of course he immediately set about fixing them, and he did that quickly and of course very, very well. But he got a bit bored with being a lab tech, he really did. It wasn't sufficient grit or substance in the job. He got bored. And he used to go to do other things. He used to go up to the woodwork room and make things. But eventually he retired too, and we just maintained our friendship and developed our friendship. We used to go out for lunch several times. Sometimes it was Pam and Julian and the two blokes, and other times it was just the two of us. I don't know what we talked about because he didn't like cricket, and I certainly didn't like motor cars and engines. But we still found plenty to talk about because Coen loved to philosophise, loved to talk politics, he loves to talk about the environment, and above all, he loved to have a laugh. He had a great sense of humour. He loved irony. He hated pretension. He hated long meetings that were going nowhere. And that's when he used to interject with his witticisms, because he thought it was just a load of rubbish, to be honest. Anyway, eventually, of course, the end came. And I'm going to leave this story with a cricket analogy which he would find delightfully ironic. I'll put on my Richie Benno accent here. Great innings, mate. Well played.
Good morning, everyone. I first met Coen back in 2007 when I began teaching at Parklands High School. As we're on the same teaching team, we spent a lot of time together. Like most people that met him, we actually clicked straight away. It didn't take long for me to see what kind of bloke that he was. He was loyal, genuine, funny, very cynical and creative, a problem solver who always thought outside the box, and very, very easy to get along with. Coen loved his MDT, spending many of his non-teaching blocks before and after school in that area. He was always assisting Tamo or completing his own foreigners or his own projects, as he called them. He always wanted to work and teach in that area. And when Tamo transferred to Hellyer College, Coen thought that he was actually a shoo-in for the position. Funny enough, when Coop won the position, I think he was a little bit annoyed with Coop when he first came in. And, but then they did form an absolutely great friendship also. Coen had a real enthusiasm for fixing and building things. Using an old bus shell, he transferred it into a roadworthy camper van or camper bus for him and Pam to travel around Australia with. I remember, going up and seeing it, and the little Suzuki that they had on, tucked on the back, ready for their big adventure. Then there was that old military Jeep that we've already spoke about. It was one of a kind. I remember him driving into school one day, and Coop and I shared an office up in the MDT area, and we could actually see out in the car park. And as Coen drove in with this, homemade built Jeep, Coop then turned around to me and actually said, "I wonder if that thing's actually roadworthy." Whether it was road, there was that other tank source type Jeep that Singer spoke about, a little motorbike that he created as well, and many other things that he created along the way. He actually really loved that sort of stuff. It was his way of unwinding, being creative, and doing what he did best. As a teacher, Coen didn't beat around the bush. If a student was acting up, he'd call it out straight away. No fuss, no drama. But behind that firm approach was a really big heart. He had a real sense of empathy and knew when a student needed that bit of compassion. He earned respect the right way, by being firm, fair and consistent, and generally caring about the kids that he taught. I reckon a lot of them now as adults, and now that they're older, will realise just how much they actually respected him, even though at that time they thought that he was a grumpy old man. Kelly Colson, a former student of Coen's, passed on these memories. My fondest memory of Mr. Smit was at grade 8 camp. We were on Milo duties, and we discovered that we had actually a lot in common. We spoke about camping and motorbikes, and from that moment we gained a newfound respect for each other. I remember him saying, I thought you're a girly girl, a spoilt one at that, but you're actually all right. Mr. Smit was a straight shooter. He called a spade, and as students, you knew exactly where you stood with him. My husband was also a student of Mr. Smith's, but I was probably one of his most favourite students, where my husband was his least favourite. When we got to see him over the years, he'd always end up the conversation by saying, "I still can't believe you married him." And you could have done much better. Then we'd both laugh about it. He was a great automotive teacher. You could tell that he had an authentic passion for being outdoors, and he wasn't afraid to actually get his hands dirty. He taught me the values of respect and honest hard work. I'd be ever grateful for his influence and our little chats we've had when we've crossed paths over the last 15 years or so, since I've left school. And I believe that just sums Coen up to a T. We, his colleagues, gave Coen a few nicknames along the way. Papa Smurf was one. It was pretty self-explanatory with his white or grey beard. His nickname couldn't have suited him any better. But just like Papa Smurf from the Smurfs, he was pretty wise, he was pretty calm, cheeky, and always ready to give you some advice. Old Man Smit was another nickname that we gave him. When we called him this, his response was, "That's enough of the old stuff." This encouraged us to call him it more and more as time went on. As discussed today, he was a man of many talents, and I mean many. Over the years, he'd been an abalone driver, a pilot, a farmer, a bus driver, a teacher, a motorbike instructor, and probably a few more that I've forgotten. Him and Pan appeared on the TV show Getaway when they were running their quad bike adventures on the West Coast. I always loved hearing his stories, and he couldn't get enough of them. He was definitely a fascinating man with so many hats in life that he wore. Coop actually reminded me of a story back in 2016. As we all know, Pam and Coen began the business, the Cat's Cottage, and at this stage I was actually teaching at Montello Primary School. Coop and Chalk decided to play a prank on Coen and took the magnets off his ute and actually stuck them onto my car. When I actually got to my car, I thought, what's going on here? And it wasn't until I got the call from Coop and Chalk, and they thought it was absolutely really funny that they'd swapped these magnets over. However, Coen wasn't actually really impressed. In fact, he was actually quite angry. But even then, he couldn't stay grumpy or angry at us for long. He had a laugh about it, and eventually, as he always did. Coen, Coop and I created our own little social club. Every Friday after we knocked off, we'd grab a beer, catch up. We'd catch up at the end of the week and, enjoy many good times. At the start of the year, we'd all discuss that we'd buy a block of 4X gold each and actually sell it back to each other and create a little bit of a profit for our end of year festivities. And sell them back to ourselves. Chalk would never buy the block of 4X gold. He'd bring all the odds and ends of, that he collected along the way, and Coen got really angry with that for the fact that, he wasn't actually paying part of the deal that we agreed on. We had some really big nights. Some of those Friday night beers after school turned into some fascinating nights, both at the Beach Hotel and at the Middle Pub in Wynyard. He'd start mumbling a lot, and we'd just nod along because we actually needed a translator to say what he was actually talking about. He took part in our punters club and our footy tipping. Even though he had no idea how any of it worked, he'd just hand over his money each week and actually say, you guys just deal with it. He did have a little purse or a little wallet with a kangaroo on it that had a truckload of $2 coins in it as well. He was always up for a laugh and always wanted to be part of the crew. Those Friday nights or Friday afternoons were always something special. Coen always made sure the beer was cold and always had them ready for us to go. When we arrived, we'd sit there for hours, and I mean hours, probably the longest time I've ever spent at, with people after work. We'd debrief, tell each other how great educators we were, and we'd actually, like I said, and there was a lot of banter and just taking the absolutely mickey out of each other. We really loved being together. I love those Friday nights. We created such a special bond, and it was a great way to end a hard-working week and start the weekend. Those Friday nights will actually stick with me forever, and I'm sure we're with the people that joined us as well. Coen was the bloke that made every Friday night feel the best part of the week. He was a true mate of mine. He was one of a kind. He was honest, dependable, full of wit, and a heart full of gold. And he was the kind of bloke that would give you the shirt off his back and his last dollar in his pocket. He actually didn't have to say much to show you that he cared. It could be just a simple, how you going, mate? Or his presence each day. Or the advice how Coop and I especially should be following his low GI diet. Coen always showed that he cared about me, and he was really one of the kind. A true gentleman, a great mate, and a bloke that made everyone's day just feel a little bit better. When Jimmy informed me of Coen's passing, it actually hit me really hard. I was actually in really complete shock. I hadn't caught up with him for a while. Like many of us, I thought there was a lot of time to catch up for a chat, a beer and a laugh. It really truly saddened me that I won't get to see old man Smit again. Honestly, I'd give anything to have one more of those Friday nights with Coen, Coop and Chalk. Just to sit back, share a drink and talk absolutely smack with each other like we used to. Coen, those memories that we made together will stay with me forever. From hearing your incredible stories about your journey through life, to those Friday afternoon beers after school, the PACO system that we created, and many of the survivor camps that we organised together. Always treasure the time that we worked together at Parklands. You're a great support to me, and I respect you more than words can actually express. You were someone that I could always count on, and proud to actually call you my friend. Coen, you might be gone with us physically, but you'll be always right here in our heart, in our stories and our laughs. Rest easy, mate. You're one of the best, and I'll truly miss you.
Thank you, David and Shannon. It's so obvious that Coen meant the world to both of you, and you're both going to miss him deeply. I'm honoured this morning to present tributes on behalf of the family. The first one is from his loving daughter Gemma, and Gemma has written, "Dear Dad, you have always been there supporting and encouraging me through every stage of life. You gave so much compassion and empathy during difficult times. Your kindness and understanding would sometimes bring me to tears. Your love was unconditional, given without question. You would always want to help in any way that you could. Nothing was ever too much trouble or couldn't be done. And your guidance and advice were always offered in a way that was so effortless. It was the most natural thing in the world for you. A father taking care of his daughter, helping her, wanting the best for her. I'll always love you, Dad. I'll always be missing you. I'll always wish for more time with you, for more talks about books, talks about life and about hopes and dreams, more time with your grandchildren." This quote by John Gregory Brown embodies you so perfectly, Dad. There's something like a line of gold thread running through a man's words when he talks to his daughter. And gradually, over the years, it gets to be long enough for you to pick up in your hands and weave into a cloth that feels like love itself. I'm so very lucky to have had you as my dad. Rest peacefully. I will love you always, Gemma. And from his devoted son, Ben. Ben has written, "I'm so very lucky to have had Coen as my father. He has always been there for me through thick and thin. He embraced life with a never give up attitude and made sure to have a laugh along the way. Growing up, he took me everywhere and included me in everything. As a kid, I fell in love with the west coast of Tasmania. He took me there on countless trips. Life felt like a constant adventure in his company. The thing I will always remember about my dad is his unconditional love and the kindness he showed to everybody. Whether it be family, friends or colleagues, he was always willing to help everyone. I know he loves us all very much, and I will miss him always." From Ben. Thank you, Ben. And from his adoring wife, Pam. Pam has written, "We all loved Coen, Ben and Gemma, son-in-law James, and of course Flynn and Lily loved their Opa. We all miss him so very much. His kindness, his eagerness to help others, generosity of spirit, humour, problem-solving skills and sharp analytical mind. He could design and build anything. His creativity was superb. Coen was my loving husband, my soulmate and best friend. I feel truly blessed to have shared my life with him. My love, my life, my all is gone, and I am left to face the dawn. I still say I love you, but now there's no reply. I always feel your presence, as if you never left my side. Until we meet again, darling, rest in peace. From Pam. Photographs are a great way to depict aspects of a life well lived. The family have chosen two of Coen's favourite songs, Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers and Stringer by Wendy Matthews and Kate Sobrano to accompany these.
Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch a long, lonely time. Then time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much. All you still more. I need your love. I need your love. God, speed your love to me. Lonely rivers flow to the sea, to the sea, to the open arms of the sea. Yeah. Lonely riverside, wait for me, wait for me. I'll be coming home, wait for me. Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch. Oh, Lord, only time.
but beautiful, beautiful memories. As we come to the close of this celebration, we pause to hold Coen's memory close. A man who built, who dreamed, who loved. A husband, a father, opa, brother and friend. A man who saw the world not as it was, but how it could be. Would you all please stand? We give thanks for Coen's life, for the laughter he brought, the lessons he taught, and the love he gave. Though his time was far too short, his impact was immeasurable. He will live on in every garden sculpture, every clever fix, every spark of curiosity he inspired, and in the hearts of all those who loved him. And now we release Coen with love, gratitude and deep affection to the next great adventure. May he rest peacefully, his spirit forever flying free, and may we carry his laughter and light with us always. This time of parting is the most difficult. But before we do so, let's be thankful and grateful for his life, remembering the intangibles, the impact of Coen's life on yours. You may bring to mind his smile, his quizzical look, his sense of humour, his great personality, or you might bring to mind simply the way he lived his life. Remember the significant moments and the fun times you had with him, the things you learned from him, and the things maybe he learned from you. You will remember Coen's life by the memories he leaves behind. But most of all, remember him with love as long as you live. Those of us who feel deeply will grieve deeply. No philosophy or religion ever taught to us can prevent this wholly natural reaction from the human heart. We come into this world with nothing and we leave with nothing. But the memories we leave behind with our family and friends are a mark of our life's success. Coen's life was truly successful. Once again, on behalf of his family, Pam, Gemma, Ben, James, Flynn and Lily, thank you for being here today. Your presence, your memories and your love mean the world. They would also like me to express their sincere thanks to the paramedics and police who attended their property last Thursday, who tried desperately to keep Coen with us. Their kindness and professionalism will never be forgotten. Coen's life reminds us to stay curious, to care deeply, to make and mend and laugh, to use what we have and to never stop learning. He would have wanted us to leave today inspired, to build something, to fix something, to help someone. That was the essence of the man. So go in peace, carry his humour, his heart and his wisdom with you, and know that the world is a better place because he was here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.